Please turn to Romans 5. The title we have been given is Kingdom Integrity. Subtitled, Your Core Sins Are Your Character Sins. First of all, what is integrity? It is when your actions match your morals. You do what you set out to do based on your moral values. So then, what is kingdom integrity? It is when your actions match God's morals. How's your integrity? It is King Jesus who determines what you are to have integrity in. Romans 5, it says in verse 3, not only so, but we also glory in our what? In our sufferings. In our what? In our what? Sufferings. You better believe it. So, what is it going to take for you to build godly character? Suffering. Some of you singles should be thinking about suffering, not an engagement ring. Suffer to get an awesome job so that you can afford an engagement ring after blowing out your special missions in May, amen? Suffering rather than tagging your exam period campus. How is your integrity with your school studies? It takes suffering to have a thriving marriage, thriving family. So just face the reality. It is painful to change. Just accept it. Don't sugarcoat it. Otherwise, you will never change. But you will change when the pain of staying the same exceeds the pain of changing. And I don't know about you, I don't want 2022 to be a retake of 2021. A year that was characterized on my part by poor worship of God, if I'm honest, poor leadership of my family, poor advancement in the men's ministry. So I'm gonna go through the suffering to turn my weaknesses into strengths. What about you? It says, because we know, you know, that suffering produces perseverance. So you are choosing to suffer, but you're pushing through it. You're persevering and you do not give up. And it says, perseverance, character. The Greek word for character, dokime. A tried and approved character. To be tested, to be true. So you may ask, how do I know what my character is? What is my character sin? You see, your character is what you consistently do. Your character is what you consistently do. That is who you are at this very moment. Because your character is at the very core of who you really are. The core sins are the character sins. When we say, I struggle with consistency. No, you're consistently inconsistent. Because that is your character right now. I struggle with impurity. No. It's your character to be impure every week or bi-weekly. That is your character. It's just so difficult to forgive. Yeah, because it is your character to get bitter rather than forgive. The character of cowardice. Yet another person going past the discipleship study without ever finding out they're not a Christian. Yet another day, whole day spent on campus. How many people did I share with? 5? Laziness. Your character sins are the ones you consistently commit. And have you noticed you cannot escape your character? It will follow along with you wherever you go. But you can grow in your character. As it says, and character, hope. So there is hope if you persevere through suffering and develop a character that is tested and true. I will have my wonderful wife, Ashley, share.
Well, good morning, sisters. It surely is the year of the Spirit, and I'm so grateful that we're really focusing on worshiping the King. And it's awesome. Probably most of you guys are in line with me if you're doing a Bible in a year reading plan. I just read about Joseph, right? And he is such an incredible man of deep character and convictions. In Genesis 39, when Pharaoh's wife is trying to seduce him, he's like, I cannot do that. Not only are you my master's wife, but I would be sinning against God. So when temptation arose, his conviction kicked in. And I really think that the opposite of integrity is compromise. There's a quote that I read today. It says, if you compromise your core values, you go nowhere. And I believe you grow nowhere. And so I'm grateful I get to share because there are areas that I've definitely failed a lot, especially in 2021, but in life in general. Coming into the kingdom, I really had to grow in my convictions, specifically in purity, people-pleasing, and relying on other people's faith. And so I dealt with the effects of what happens when you compromise, but I also got to suffer and grow in my character in these areas. Coming into the kingdom, purity was a habitual thing before I became a disciple. So coming into the kingdom, it was a struggle to get character. And unfortunately for me, there was areas I compromised. I dated as a young disciple, and that relationship had a lot of impurity that came in. And I suffered the heartbreak of losing that relationship, but I also saw that this is an opportunity that I can really learn my Bible and have discernment between what is right and wrong in a pure relationship. I know with people pleasing, I lived my life as a chameleon. If you were a sports person, I was a sports person. If you were emo, I was emo. I was everything because I just wanted to be accepted. And coming into the kingdom, I saw that you can't do that. Like not only with disciples, but especially in studying the Bible, you cannot compromise the standard of the Bible. And so it's suffering when you lose friendships. Your best friends who study the Bible is like, no, I don't want to be a disciple. Or people that you study it, you give your heart to, and they persecute you. But what's awesome is when you hold to your character and the standard of the Bible, you are a safe place. People will come right back to you because they know this girl doesn't change. She believes in the Bible, and she's not going to compromise it for my sake. And the other one is relying on other people's faith. As a young disciple, it's exciting. You've got all these disciples, campus ministry, singles ministry, all these different things going on. And I went on the Long Beach mission team for about 3 months, and I was vibing. There's stuff going on in LA all the time. There's always something exciting going on, move-ins, move-outs, all these things. But then I was asked to go to Hawaii, an island, kind of like the UK. And it was awesome. It was awesome. But I saw that my faith was really linked to the disciples' faith that I had really grown up in the kingdom with until that time. So when I got to Hawaii, I really faced myself. Do I really believe in daily quiet times? Or do I just vibe off of what my roommates are learning? I really saw that I have to have a personal conviction about not making my friendships in the world more than my friendships in the kingdom. And what's awesome is people got baptized through that time after I persevered through that suffering and got my own convictions. And I really want us to imitate, sisters, Joseph. What did he do when the Pharaoh's wife came after him? It says that he literally fled. So character is persevering, but there's one thing that you can take a shortcut in, and that's fleeing from your sin. 2 Timothy 2:22 says, flee from the evil desires of your youth. And so that's one area that you can compromise all day. Compromise from going into that sin. And so I want to ask you guys to see, are you really fleeing from your sin and really going through the suffering, or are you falling into sin and compromising and stunting your growth? And so I want to encourage you, make the decision to stop compromising, start fleeing from your sin, get open about your thoughts, flee from that extra donut, flee from your bed, flee from whatever is holding you back, and really grow in your character.
So kingdom integrity. For you to be a person of integrity, your character has to change. Practically, how? First of all, be honest. What is your character? Thus, what are your character sins currently? Be honest. Secondly, suffer. It'll be painful, it'll feel unnatural, but you will grow. Thirdly, persevere in suffering. Don't give up. You get used to the pain, but you develop the habit of pushing through the pain. And over time, that becomes a part of who you are. It becomes your character. And that is how you have kingdom integrity. To God be all the glory.